Hallucinogenics will give you an entertaining moment, hours, maybe days at the most, but eventually it fades off, and then the effects of it usually aren't permanent and often aren't good. And if you've gotten something, just talking from my experience, what I've found with Jesus is that the effects, when you give your heart completely to him, he gives you his Holy Spirit, and his effects are not temporary. They aren't shifting. They don't come and go. His Spirit's been with me 20 years, and his presence and love has been with me for 20 years. And I've never had to redose or engage in any ceremony. I like going to church, but it is my relationship with him that makes me go. It's not, I go so I can dose up on God. When the difference between doing drugs to encounter a deity and Jesus is this: Jesus is a living spirit that you'll know and recognize as love, and he will never leave you or forsake you, and he will always lead you to something better, something more powerful and more fulfilling. And in the drug world, you'll have encounters and they can be entertaining, but they will not, on a whole, make you whole. And in fact, now this I can say, they will not absolve you of your shortcomings. You might recognize them, and you might, that you might go, okay, I need to change that, or, oh man, I messed up there. Yeah, you can recognize your shortcomings, but there is a payment, a reconciliation between us and God, where all the payment was put on his son Jesus. That's why the cross isn't to say we're bad. The cross is to say we have done bad, but that our nature is good, and by his Spirit, it is that nature that gets restored. The good nature, the whole nature, the pure nature. We become saints, and you don't need a medication or substance to get you back into that realization. It is by his Spirit. It's faith alone in him, in his name, Jesus. And then when we engage with him and allow him into our lives, then in a sober way, he changes us to be better, so that we understand our shortcomings in a sober mind. And then we change by his love. We are drawn to do good. We are compelled by love. And that's the cool thing, and that's the fun thing. And it never runs out, and it lasts forever. You start in this life, and it finishes in forever and in eternity, which doesn't end. And you will recognize him by love: peace, love, joy, kindness, meekness, temperance, long suffering. It's in the book of Galatians. So that's the difference between the drug world and Jesus. Now, just because a lot of people don't get it right or have this experience in Christianity doesn't mean you can't have it. I've got it, and you can too. This is one video in like the snowflake of eternity, or like all of YouTube, which I doubt if a lot of people are going to see it, but whatever. If you're watching this, you can have an amazing encounter with Jesus, and you don't have to drink anything, ingest anything that's going to twist your mind up, that's going to fade away. It's just the opposite. You give him your heart, and it might start off cold and boring, but you press in and you work it. Kind of like my joke is like when you sleep on your arm and you wake up and it's numb and you don't feel it, and you just work it. You work the faith of your heart. You work the relationship with God. You ask him into your life. And then in time, what will happen is you'll have more encounters and better encounters than you will of any drug, because it is by love that you will encounter him and recognize him. And love's the best drug. That's the facts. Check. So with that, it's a short video about encountering God and the difference between Jesus and drugs. So like him, subscribe to him, and I'll catch you on the other side. See ya.